Scott Pruitt is the kind of guy you might meet in Bible study.
And that's the gospel truth.
The former Sunday school teacher and church deacon wants to use that faith background in his role as EPA administrator.
As I serve and as we seek to make decisions, I want to do so based upon an attitude that we're here to minister to people, serve people, and have a light and a cheerfulness as we do it.
Some of his moves have definitely put smiles on the faces of conservatives. Pruitt believes the Obama administration meddled in Americans' livelihoods and went too far with unnecessary regulations and executive orders.
Actions taken by the executive branch really were actions that the legislative branch should have been taking or addressing, and it did what? It impacted liberty. I mean, when you declare a war on coal from a regulatory perspective, the question has to be asked, where's that in the statute? Where did Congress empower the EPA to declare a war on coal? There's a role for the EPA. Yeah. There's a very important role for the agency. The problem is the last several years, that role has been morphed and evolved into something that's not.
So Pruitt is clearly making his mark at the agency. He played major roles in the U.S. leaving the Paris climate deal and ending Obama's Clean Power Plan. It sought to curb emissions from coal-fired plants. And Pruitt says that unfairly attempted to pick winners and losers on electricity. He also wants to cut bureaucratic red tape. One stated victory: more timely action on nuclear waste sites near people's homes.
Well, how do you have some of these sites take 30 to 40 years to get remediated, to cleaned up, or in some cases just a decision made on how to clean up?
Government red tape?
That's unacceptable.
But I'm feeling really scared. I'm feeling really scared.
Not everyone's cheering. Environmental activists see Pruitt as an administrator who's not a good steward of nature.
The environmental left tells us that though we have natural resources like natural gas and oil and coal, and though we can feed the world, we should do what? Keep those things in the ground, put up fences, and be about prohibition. That's wrong-headed. And I think it's counter to what we should be about.
Pruitt believes God commands us to take care of the environment. And that also means to use what he has provided.
The biblical worldview with respect to these issues is that we have a responsibility to manage and cultivate, harvest the natural resources that we've been blessed with, to truly bless our fellow mankind.
As for climate change or global warming, the environmental left labels Pruitt a science denier.
Truly, I mean, and clearly, the climate changes. There's no, for someone to say that someone's a skeptic or a climate denier about the climate changing, that's just nonsensical. I mean, we see that throughout history. We impact the climate by our activity. How much so is very difficult to determine with respect to our CO2 or carbon footprint, but we obviously do. But here's the key. We as a country have reduced our carbon footprint by almost 20%. From the year 2000 to 2014. You know how? Through innovation and technology, not government mandate.
Pruitt is also under criticism because he's flying in business or first class, not coach. The EPA says he needs that extra layer of privacy because he is being confronted angrily in public. Recently, Pruitt canceled a trip to Israel over the controversy. Meanwhile, the president is sticking by him. Because in Pruitt, he gets a man who says his overall philosophy is less government control. And it's why Pruitt went into politics a while back. And God was at the center of that conversation.
I spent a couple of years just earnestly praying through, asking the question that I don't think we ask enough as individuals. God, what do you want to do with me? Really getting in our prayer closets, seeking his heart, asking what he wants to do in our lives. It was actually Isaiah chapter 1 that I was reading through at that time that really spoke to my heart, and specifically in the latter part of chapter 1, where God says to Israel, I will restore your leaders as in the days of old, your judges as at the beginning. And there was just a desire that welled up inside of me to say I wanted to be like those leaders that we had at the founding, at the inception of our country.
And to Pruitt, the need to pursue what the Founding Fathers intended is more important than ever.
There's never been more of a threat to liberty, to what we know is the protections that are inherent in our Constitution than what we live today.
Another reason that Pruitt would remind critics that the Constitution reads, "We the people," not "we the government." David Brody, CBN News.